There we go. We got IG rocking with us. So back. I'm back. I'm back with some more thought-provoking content. And I will be getting back to the situation to addressing and checking dubs. So I want to get back into Dodge City, my Dodge City player partner. What's the deal? Dodge City Projects, Dodge City PJs. What's the dinner there, man? Much love and respect to you and yours, man. So without further ado, here's a continuation of Dub's speech.
He used a word he shouldn't have used. He had a poor choice of words. But you can tell that Waffle, there's nothing racist about that Waffle. And when he used the term he used.
If there's nothing racist about that Waffle, then why would that Waffle elect to call African Americans monkeys? Derogatory term that has been put on blacks since the 17 and 1800s. From the 17 and 1800s on down to what they call African Americans porch monkeys and monkeys, gorillas, apes, things of this nature. You feel what I'm saying? They always try to compare the African American group of people or the melanated carbonated people here in the States. They always try to compare us and make a reference to us being primates and monkeys. He knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? That's like me coming on here and utilizing that B word to describe or associating that B word, you know what I'm talking about, to Hispanics, and then say, oh no, I wasn't. Like, no, come on now. Let's see, that's the thing, man. These Serrano or these Hispanics who are affiliated with the Serranos in some shape, form, or fashion always neglect to accept responsibility and accountability.
He was also talking about Raider. He was talking about anyone that works on that platform. He's referring to them with a term that he could have used a better term. He knows that. I think we all know that. But to turn around and
so if he knows that, and we all know that, why would he utilize the word if he knew it can be inflammatory? Like, come on, man. There's no accountability with certain individuals and their people. And that's something that we got to see, man, as devoted as they are to their people, we need to be just as devoted or equally as devoted to our people. Instead of getting on the internet and calling each other out our names and disrespecting each other and trying to pull up on each other and do physical harm to one another for the sake of likes, views, and relevance. Like, no, man, this shit need to be checked, man. This shit need to be nipped in the bud, man. It's hurtful and it's harmful to our perception to the world and the way that the world perceives us. It's offensive, man, the way that we do each other. But when these other ethnicities, races, and individuals come up against us, we don't give them the same energy. Like, no, that. It's time for a new day, man. It's time for us to unify. It's time for us to start resolving our conflicts in a gentleman-like fashion, in a brotherly-like fashion for those who are worthy. Because like they say, all skin folks ain't kin folks. But for those who are worthy, we need to stop clashing over this internet. We need to protect each other. We need to stand up for each other. We need to support and advocate for one another in a manner that they're doing it. Norbies, you was wrong, bro. You were wrong. You utilized a word that was offensive and inflammatory. You was wrong. You knew what you were doing, and you got the results that you were desiring. You got a certain level of relevance and recognition in these YouTube streets. You know what you was doing. Your people know what you was doing. Dildo Dubs, forgive me. Dubs know what you was doing. But let's get back into it.
And just make it, look at another Mexican that's racist. Like, he's not even a Southern, he's not even a Southsider. Like, it's usually all the Southsiders.
That's how I know that this cat watched my videos and the big homie OG Bam 2C's video. Because I be telling my people, hey, let's not put this blanket over all Hispanics in California, make it seem like it's this, that, and third. It's specifically majority of the time the Southern raza, the Soreños that's doing this and doing that. So for him to make that distinction and give clarity in regards to that, that shows that this dropout watches my videos. So let's stop fronting, let's stop thinking of funk and all this and all that, man. You watch my videos, you're a secret fan. Bottom line.
It's just a blanket statement. Like, you can't paint everyone with the same brush. It's ridiculous to try to do that.
No, it's not. And I'm about to show y'all why it's not.
And the person that called me said that he feels, and he's not the only one that has said it, he said he feels that there are certain raza on YouTube feeding Norbies to the wolves. He feels that that's not right.
Where's the accountability? If Norby's made these inflammatory statements and he disrespected blacks, and if there were some blacks out there that consider him a threat or, you know, feel like they wanted to do something to him, would it not be justified? But like we have said in the comments, and like I have said, they're going to go above and beyond to protect their people, right, wrong, or indifferent. So we need to learn from that. We need to start protecting our people. We need to start supporting our people. We need to start standing with our people and advocating for our people in the same way, in the same fashion that they do theirs, right, wrong, or indifferent. And then secretly, we'll pull them to the side, say, mother, you know you was wrong. So since you were wrong, this is the disciplinary actions that we're going to take against you. But we're not about to crucify you on the internet. We're not going to do that. Nope. And this isn't a shot at any other cars in Los Angeles County, but I want to applaud the Hub and Dub for not settling and bringing our disagreements to the internet when we can pick up a phone. And I can say, hey, big homie, you know, hey, this is how I feel. This is my point of view. We're not going to take it to the internet. If it's necessary, we can pull up to the local coffee shop. We can have some coffee, or we can even go to the bar and get a few sips. And if the situation is that heated to where we need a minute to cool down, let's go to Dave and Buster's, man. They got this game, man. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all should check it out. They got this game where it's Connect 4, but it's a basketball that you have to shoot. So you got to shoot this basketball to make your Connect 4. Then you also got to shoot the basketball to stop your opponent from making a Connect 4. Let's go. Let's get some positive engagement. Let's get that productivity flowing. Let's get some dopamine, some serotonin, in all these happy chemicals flowing, and then we can have that dialogue, because now we're not coming from a lower frequency because of the cortisol and norepinephrine or whatever it's called production. The adrenaline. Let's minimize the negative adrenaline and maximize the dopamine, the serotonin, and dopamine, serotonin, and what's the oxytocin. Let's get these positive chemicals and hormones flowing, man, to where we can have dialogue as big homie, little homie, big homie, or brothers. See, we got to start utilizing conflict resolution. We don't always have to be so willing to pick up arms when we're disagreeing with each other. It's a healthy way that we can agree to disagree. And that's all I'm saying. Let's start learning from those who hate us. Since they hate us so much, let's use their hate for us, not to return the hate for them, but to increase the love for us. Let's get back into dildo. Forgive me, dubs. Just regular old dubs. No dildo. Just regular dubs.
Hold on, you guys. And it reminded me, look, prison has changed over the decades, right? When I did 2 decades, I did 24 years and 2 weeks about.
Once again, he's about to expose their racial, politics, procedures, and policies. He's about to expose it about how they're a cohesive group And right, wrong, or indifferent, they don't hold each other accountable to others. Even with the situation that's going on, I think in either Salinas Valley or Soledad, right? To where a brother had got into it with a disrespectful Hispanic who disrespected him, was drunk on a tier. The brother put tips on him. The brother get transferred to another prison. The Sureños get word that the brother had picked up, put tips on one of their respected razas or one of their respected homies. The Sureños go to the blacks and tell the blacks like, "Hey, nah, this Vato gotta go, dog. Hey, he can't be here, dog. We got to get him up out of here because where he came from, he put hands on one of the caminadas, and we can't have him here." And the blacks like, what? The blacks become hip to the situation. It's like, oh no, cuz stand, oh no, blood stand, our kinfolk stand. The Hispanics did not agree with the facts that the blacks was standing on all tens and saying he's not going nowhere. Ooh, so it went up. So they want to interfere in our politics, procedures, and policies and dictate what we do because y'all people was wrong. So y'all don't want to hold y'all people accountable as it pertains to blacks, but you want blacks to hold their people accountable in front of you as it pertains to you all. Oh no. Oh no. What Charles said? What Charles and White say? Oh no, homie. No, homie. It don't go like that, player partner.
Luckily, I was schooled by some real gangsters. I was schooled by dudes who were not snakes, because those are the kind of people I was drawn to, people who were not snakes. And in my schooling, you never clowned a homie in front of another faction. Period. You never belittled a homie. If you want to clown a homie, you clown it amongst homies. Preferably, you do it when it's you and him. Take a lap, walking bullshit with each other. Because you never, ever downgrade a homie. And yet,
I think you meant to say downplay, my bad.
Here we are on YouTube. And Raza are downgrading Raza on a regular, continuous basis. I'm for everybody. I'm all inclusive.
You see how he made the point. He put that out there that Raza should not incriminate, ridicule, talk about, downgrade, but he means degrade one another in front of anybody. And then he want to say, "Oh, I'm for everybody. I'm all inclusive." So why don't you shed your racial indoctrination? Why don't you shed that if you're for everybody? See, I can sit here, right? And I can positively say that not all whites is racist, and I can stand on that. You know why I can stand on that? Because there's evidence of it. John Brown, or was it John Smith? John Brown, the abolitionist, who fought alongside blacks to free blacks. He stood up against the racial institutions here in America and said these individuals are people just like we are. Why are we trying to enslave them and subjugate them to our rule and our leadership and our tyrannical behavior? John Brown or John Smith died for what he stood for as it pertained to blacks. So when I see Hispanics or people that say, "I'm not racist," when I see y'all stand up for blacks and be more vocal about things that pertain to blacks, then I say, you know what, Dubs isn't a racist. But you continuously put out this narrative that's a reflection of surrounding your politics, or a homie this and a homie. You're not even a homie anymore. Bro, you're not a homie anymore. So why everything that you say is from a perspective of a respected Sorrento or Southsider? You're a racist. The things that we learned as a kid be the hardest to discard or get away from when we become adults. It'd be the hardest. You're a racist. That's your indoctrination. Your indoctrination got you in this place to where you don't even know you're a racist. And you think just because you socialize with blacks and you're cordial with certain blacks, that negate or nullify the fact that you're a racist. You're still a racist. It's part of your indoctrination, bro. And if you are that indoctrinated to the point to where you can't see that you are a racist, then my friend, you need some professional help. And once again, let me reiterate, I can say no, all whites are racist because there's whites that fought alongside blacks in the 1600s, 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s. It was whites that stood alongside Dr. Martin Luther King and other civil rights leaders and got their head bust in the South by these racist Caucasians, these racist Aryans that felt that we should be separate, that felt that we should be subjugated to their leadership. It was whites out there, even down in Mississippi. They made I believe they made the movie about that. I believe it was 2 black dudes and a Jew, or 2 Jews and a black guy that was murdered because they were trying to change the narrative. They were trying to say, hey, we all can coexist with each other without that racial elements. How many Hispanics you see doing that? Or how many Soranios you see doing that? Let's get back to this.
So many black followers, white followers, Asian followers, and I always try to make my content for everyone.
What he just did is the typical, I have a black friend. Like, come on, bro, get up off that. So we gonna get into something a little bit more revelating about what is the inception? What does this hatred for us originate from? I got the video. Let's get into it. Several videos. See, they can deny it all they want, but your indoctrination is to be anti-black. That's your indoctrination. That's your policies, procedures, and protocol. Please don't freeze up on me now, cuz. All right, this motherfucker froze up on me. All right, so what I'm gonna do, let's do this. I'm gonna restart it. I'm coming right back. What the fuck is going on? But I is back. Now let's get into it. The inception of the inner minority racism. What does it come from? It stems from jealousy. It stems from individuals want to dominate and dictate what blacks can do, what blacks can't do, where blacks can go and where blacks can't go. Let's get to the inception of it.
Tension, partly induced by the Mexican mafia, has also filtered into Southern California high school, and clearly it starts inside prison walls. Here in maximum security at Chino Penitentiary, notorious prison gang members are housed separately. The Mexican Mafia, also called La M in one area, the Black Guerrilla Family prison gang in another. Here there is constant racial tension. Tension that often erupts here in the LA County jail system. Latino inmates tell Fox News the word to fight often comes down from the Mexican Mafia, a group authorities say controls most of the drug behind bars.
They want to make it a racial thing, you know what I mean? It's like the M, the Raza, you know? We control all inside jail, you know? That's what the M is all about. That's what they came out and say, you know, we have riots with the blacks.
Jail officials say these tensions have heightened since the LA riots. The Mexican Mafia, using the race issue to show its muscle in the prison system, has even ordered a hit on Crip gangster Damian Football Williams.
But see, they use that to spread their hatred for blacks, right? But in those 1992 riots, and I have data, I have statistical data, I have statistic to substantiate what I'm saying, right? We started the riots, but the Mexicans joined in and they took over. They took over. We allowed them to riot and get the things that was essential for their households and food and everything that they rioted for. It's even a video out there to where it's a Mexican, you know, running out of the store with some goods, and somebody say something about the Mexican, and then a black dude respond and say, "No, cuz don't fuck with the Mexicans. They trying to survive just like we is." There's also pictures out there that says Bloods, Crips, and Mexicans together. So how were we targeting the Mexicans? And we allowed them to join in a riot, in an uprising. We allowed them to come into our communities and go into these stores and get goods. We ain't never say, "No, y'all ain't a part of this. This ain't for y'all. This for blacks. Get out of here." We never said that. We allowed them to survive because we knew that certain things was critical to their survival. Stop playing, cuz.
Jailhouse letters sent between a mafia member and Latino gangster and obtained by Fox News discuss plans to put FB out. FB, a reference to Football Williams. Another note says, "I'll do it when I can do a good job."
Why not Damian Williams? He's getting all the same attention. You know, he's dissing us. Why not?
And this ex-gang member who has spent several years trying to get kids out of gang life says the Mexican Mafia for months now has been fanning the flames of racial tension on the streets. At a series of meetings.
Listen, this is the origin right here. This is the origin right here. So they can't deny it and say we did anything to them. They can't spread this false narrative that we robbed them. We did this, we did that. No, that's some bullshit. This is the origin of it right here, right now.
Like this one, spreading through 4 LA area counties, La MA operatives have ordered a Latino gang truce, but have also encouraged attacks on black gangs.
You said we're going to create a racial war.
This same source, who wants his identity concealed out of fear the MA would kill him for talking, says the mafia master plan is to control drug profits on the street as well as in jail.
Bottom line, how much money they can make, what they can control.
At the same time, Latino and black gangs have been facing off in a growing pattern of racial unrest at area high school.
See, and I spoke upon this before. It was easy for Latino, Chicano, Mexicano students, children, youth to turn on their black peers. You know why? Because they've been indoctrinated since they was kids that we ain't nothing and that we beneath them. So when a call comes and say, "Hey, now it's time to get cracking on them," it's an easy transition. While we trying to figure out, like, damn, like, why Hector just come up to me and fire on me? Why Hector just came up to me and punched me in my mouth? Hector done been to my house. I gave Hector his first pair of Michael Jordans. Damn, like I could. Blacks was stunned. How these same individuals that in certain regions of Los Angeles and Southern California we share communities with, we share households with, it's an exchange of cultures. How could you just flip on me? We were cool. You were considering being a part of my gang. We started a crew together. You used to do tagging for me. You done slept over my house. I done slept over your house. I didn't, like blacks were discombobulated because we wasn't indoctrinated to say F Hispanics or Mexicans or any other Latino ethnic group. We wasn't brought up to be like that. So blacks were discombobulated when these Hispanics turned on blacks and started attacking blacks. Overnight, the word came down to the pen, hit the streets. They had several meetings and they told the high schools, hey, Charles, no more being cool with blacks. Get those fools. Coordinated attacks on kids.
Other non-gang.
So you see why we don't trust the Lefty Gunplays, the Swifty Blues, all these other Sordanio rappers that now want to embrace our culture and talk in the mannerism of us and emulate, replicate, imitate in everything that we do. You see why we don't trust y'all? Because y'all have a record. Y'all have a history of betraying blacks. Even going back to Mexico, when the conquistadors came over there. Oh, y'all looking for the blacks that's helping us resist y'all? Man, they in Veracruz. They went to Veracruz 3 days ago, but if you go this way and come back this way, y'all probably be able to cut them off. They been betraying us. But the Europeans spread this false narrative that we betrayed the indigenous people. We are the indigenous people. We are the aborigines to this land. Before the Mongoloids came through the Bering Strait, through Alaska, and then downwards. We was already here. We embraced them. We always been a welcoming people. So when these Lefty Blues, Swifty Gunplays, and all these other cats, when they want to come into our culture, these cats like that and all these other cats, when they want to come into our culture, of course it's some apprehensiveness, skepticism, of course, because y'all have been known. You're notorious for betraying and backstabbing blacks. But now we see the origin of it. It's part of the cultural indoctrinations, and now it's part of the gang culture. It's part of the gang subculture. Let's get back into it.
Members often joining in. That was the case today as the latest such disturbance broke out at Paramount High School. And law enforcement intelligence obtained by Fox News talks about...
Pause. I love my people I love my folks from the Bay with a passion, homie. And I understand the contribution that you all have contributed to this movement here in California. So that's why even when I was in the California Youth Authority, I never got in that Bay versus Crip versus Bay stuff. I never did that, Kim, folks. And I got player partners from the Bay that can attest to that. I got into it with the Crips because I was standing on my blackness. The Bay cats got into it with the Norteños, right? But the Norteños was way deeper than it. I'll give y'all the story at another time. I'm about my people. But just because I'm about my people, that don't mean that I hate your people or want to degrade your people. But at some point in time, somebody got to stand up and somebody got to install pride in our people. Yes, I'm a Crip. I'm gonna be a Crip until I leave this motherfucker. Community resurrection and progress. And this is my contribution to resurrect my people, all my people in a positive fashion. Because now is the time, man. We've been killing each other for too long. From the Bay to LA, from LA to the Bay, all the way back to Africa. We've been killing each other too long. And our hatred for ourselves is part of our European indoctrination. That's why in certain literature, say we have to unlearn the things that we learn. We have to get to a point to where we create our identity. Let's identify ourselves. Let's stop allowing Europeans and other peoples to identify who we are because they don't like us. And anything that they identify us with is going to be derogatory or they're going to spin it. But let's get back to this. Shout out to all my people, man, all over the globe.
The MA influence at these recent gang meetings possibly being linked to racially motivated gang clashes at schools in Compton, Inglewood, Culver City, Santa Monica, Venice, Pomona, Ontario, and the Inland Empire. Compton school police chief.
They never tried that shit in Watts, but they're going to try it in Watts within the next 5 years. They're going to try it in Watts within 5 years. Within 5 years, mark my word, One of those Hispanic barrios, one of those Sureño barrios is going to get on some anti-black SHIT. I promise you that. But they never tried it in Watts. Once they try it in Watts, it's going to be like a raging forest fire. Because I hope that it doesn't go to that. I hope that they can see us in themselves. Because now is the time. Because y'all got black blood coursing through y'all veins. You guys is a part of us. But y'all don't understand that because it's not a part of your indoctrination. Your indoctrination, your teachings is to be anti-black. But how could you be anti-black and neglect to accept the fact that a lot of you all are black? But let's get back into this, right? We didn't start this. Check this out.
Treat, like always, spreading unity, prosperity, and respect. But I wanted to touch on this subject, man. It's a very sensitive subject, man, and I've seen other people touch on it, and I just wanted to give my perspective of it and my understanding from what my older homies have told me on the situation and what I just experienced, when it goes to as far as the mid-90s, when the homies got together as far as getting all the hoods together and stopping the drive-by shootings and
what else? What else y'all do?
Attacks, they also implemented as far as not really a green light on black gangs, but as far as just to unite and focus on establishing our territories and getting our neighborhoods back, man, because at that point in time, not only were a lot of homie hoods up and coming and establishing, but there was a lot of black gangs as well coming up and establishing themselves.
That's some bullshit.
In the cities. You know what I'm saying? If you come from...
That's some bullshit. In the 70s, in the 80s, black hoods had already been established. The newer hoods that came in the 90s is kind of like, I may be wrong, but I know the 5-1 Troubles is a younger hood. The E-Dubs is a younger hood, but the blacks was already established in our respective neighborhoods. We start carving out, certain neighborhoods for ourselves in the mid 70s. So what is you talking about? That's you cats that wanted to join the MA and go from being taggers to being an actual barrio. Like, come on, man.
Inglewood, South Central, Compton, Watts. Growing up, there was always 50% Hispanics.
It has never been 50% Hispanics, 50% blacks in Los Angeles. Never. It's either the blacks was 70, 80%, or the blacks was 14 to 13%. It has never been equal. It has never been a time in the history of Los Angeles to where the ratio was even. It has never worked like that. It has never been 50-50 in Los Angeles. Maybe Los Angeles County, potentially, but in Los Angeles, it have never been 50-50. That's a fallacy.
50% blacks. So people look at it like if it was a race thing, but necessarily it wasn't a race thing. It was just gangbanging.
It wasn't gangbanging, homie. It was racial. They got videos of it. Let me play one more video and we're going to get up out of here, man.
To start targeting black gangs out there in the streets. This was all a plot, basically to run interference. What's good with the YouTube? Real Talk with Flacco, as you already know, coming live and direct. And on this channel, we dive into sensitive issues, delicate addiction, and so forth. And today I got a special guest that's going to jump in and help you out with this topic, man, because it's a kind of complex topic and I need some more insight, as well as our views. Homie Hangout as well. Old school friend I've known for about 20-some years. So we're going to get to it. We're going to discuss the Mexican mafia and the green light that they've had on the blacks for years. As far as the conflict on the streets, we're going to break it down a little bit, man. And first and foremost, I think Rascal will agree, LA is like a gang culture. It's like the mecca of the gang banging. There's always been skirmishes with blacks and skins for years. But the breaking point that I feel that put it in the set direction was in 1992 when they had the Rodney King riots. Individual named Damian Football Williams was seen victimizing a Latino. From there, the Mexican mafia got.
I didn't know that Reginald Denny was a Latino. I thought they said that he was Caucasian. See, they always try to use subterfuge and use flea flickers and whatnot. You feel what I'm saying? Instead of accepting accountability.
Really upset about that and forced a green light on all these black neighborhoods. In the process of that, they had all these meetings going on when they enforced the taxation, in addition to the no drive-by shootings. They also wanted to emphasize that they wanted the surveillance street gang members to start targeting black gangs out there in the streets. This was all a plot, basically, to run interference into what the black gangs were doing at that time, which was the crackdown. Here we are 30 years later, the MA has become stronger, they have resources across the border, and they're pretty much the ones that are running the drug trade. So their goal of mine has worked. But we have numerous issues, man, that we're going to bring up that have occurred with this, man. And I don't think people understand that it's not as racial as it seems. It's more about territory. It's more about territory, drug trade, and money. But sometimes the media turns it into a racial component. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think it's racial in the sense of it's like a manufactured racism, right? I remember knowing Woods in prison, seeing Woods in prison. I didn't know them well, but I saw them, and they were covered in racist ideology tattoos, right? They were also drug addicts. And so when a black dude went to pill call and tucked his pill in his cheek, he spit it out in his hand and sell it to a guy that's covered in swastikas and other white supremacy tattoos, and they had no problem using it, right? So were those Woods still racist? Sure, right? But it wasn't their priority.
And that's what I say. Just because a racist is cordial with you, it doesn't neglect nor nullify the fact that this person is a racist. I have a vested interest in me interacting with you is beneficial at this present moment in time. The way that it's beneficial for Dubs to maintain a relationship with Hoodie from the Hood, Damian Porter, and all these other African American YouTubers, bloggers, ex-prisoners, or whatnot that he says he has a relationship with, because it helps him when he says some highly offensive shit towards blacks. He can come back and say, "Oh, I talked to Woothie Whoopin. This is my friend, and that's my friend." But people say, "Oh, he can't be racist because he interact with." But you have a racist Caucasian that's taking pills out of the mouth of a black. You have a racist Caucasian that's taking pills out of the mouth of a black, and they are forbidding to even eat after a black, sit in certain spots that blacks is sitting at and whatnot. So we can't say just because Dildo Dubs, forgive me, I apologize. We can't say that Dubs isn't racist because he interact with blacks. You can still interact with those who you dislike and still maintain your stance of being a racist.
Like their underlying thing wasn't racism. There was other agendas there. And that didn't happen all the time, right? And you're bound to get some Woods that are going to never happen, brother, this, that, but I think with this situation, there's some animosity from down south in terms of the competing for neighborhoods, that kind of stuff. Southern California, just politically and how they operated as a county in LA County and the various city councils, right? How they divided up the land, how they created neighborhoods, right, with building of freeways and that kind of stuff. A lot of that was done to create black neighborhoods, but then also some brown neighborhoods, which is a different dynamic than in Northern California, where in the urban areas, like in San Francisco, for example, right, you got the Mission District, and so you have some that,
There you have it, man. I would not get to a point to where I'm bloviating and just talking, and it's just air filled. There's no substance. There's no context to the content. So what I'm going to do, man, I'm going to end this, and I'm going to double back, and I'm going to talk about the cultural influence that blacks have had on Mexican culture and the Mexican country. I'm going to talk about our influence, and I'm going to talk about our footprint that's still present in Mexico today. One of the brothers on here said that, let me go to it real quick before I bring this live to an end. Yeah, it says something of the fact that Mexicans are, oh, here we go. We got JG. Well, I don't know if he's a brother or other or what he is, but we got this individual named JG. No, you wrong, brother. Most Mexicans have around 2% African DNA. How is that so, brother? When in Veracruz, Oaxaca, and the southern part of Mexico, you have blacks, carbonated individuals that look similar to me. They look similar to me. You still have northern Mexicans who still have at least 15% African DNA in their blood. So I disagree with that. I disagree with that. But what we're going to do, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some more research, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to present my facts. And if you would like to do the same thing and we cross-reference and whatnot, I'm willing to do that. And it also depends on what geographical location, what region of Mexico that you're talking about. Because the closer you get to America, the northern part, a lot of black blood has been diluted to the point to where it's 15%, 10%, because they begin to just interbreed with the lighter complected Mexicans. They begin to interbreed with each other to dilute that bloodline of the Africans or the carbonated individuals that's in them even to this day. But I'm gonna double back, and I'm gonna tell you about foods that you thought was Mexican food that's actually African food. Number one, horchata, the drink of Mexico, horchata that we love so much. When we go to Taco Mexico and we get some horchata, that comes from Africa. And there's other dishes that they still serve in Mexico to this day, in the words of Brother Deontay Wilder, that they still serve to this day that comes from Africa. There's still relics, there's still pyramids, there's still artifacts in Mexico that shows that at one point in time we were the dominant people in Mexico. So with that being said, man, I'm about to get up out of here. Man, too black, too strong. We all we need, we all we got. I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate y'all taking 42 minutes and 43 minutes and 1 second out of your day to come spend some time with your player partner and Chop Gang, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and I appreciate y'all, man. Too black, too strong. We all we need, we all we got, man. Let's find a way to love on each other.